Hi guys, well today we are going to be turning to Gigabyte for a look at the Z590 AORUS Master. Now the Master is a high-end board from the team over at AORUS, but it isn't quite the flagship because above it there is the Tachyon, which is designed exclusively for overclockers, and then there is the Extreme, which is the all-out solution with all the bells and all the whistles. So this is not quite the best that they offer, but it is still way up there as a high performance model. On offer from Master are two PCI Express 4 slots for graphics delivery, up to 5400 MHz DDR4 support, a good assortment of USB connectivity including USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2, and a huge 18+1 digital phase design. Now as mentioned, this is a high-end board and as such it commands a big price tag. It is available for around $410 in the US, $410 in the UK, and then $699 in Australia. So this is an expensive board. It's not going to be for everyone, but for those wanting a step above the rest, then this might be worth considering. Alrighty, well here we have the Z590 Master. Now of all these Z590s that we've had in, this one here is my favourite in terms of the physical design. It may adopt a black and gunmetal theme like many other boards, but the heatsinks, the layout, the placement, and the aesthetics are quite different, and that definitely has appeal. And so the base of the board is matte black, and as I said, we have black and gunmetal being used, with some silver accents for PCI Express and memory. And of course, Master comes in there with the integrated RGB lighting, which may or may not interest some, but it is present and can be customized using the RGB Fusion. Master is the standard size for a board, and it conforms there to the ATX form factor, meaning it's going to fit into most cases. With this being an Intel Z590 board, the socket that we're dealing with here is LGA 1200, and so this can accommodate both 10th and 11th gen processors, but as always, to get the most out of the platform, it is necessary to have a Rocket Lake CPU. Although we have LGA 1200, the mounting coils around the socket for the CPU cooler are in LGA 1151 alignment, so if you've got a cooler there for 1151, then it will fit. Just make sure to check that it is up to the job of handling the latest Rocket Lake CPUs, as they do get pretty toasty. Now in terms of the power delivery, we have a huge 18+1 phase design, and Master adopts the ultra durable feature set, and so it comes in with 90 amp smart power stages, a 6-layer PCB, tantalum polymer caps, and a digital PWM controller. All of this is geared towards enhancing Master's overclocking ability, and we were able to hit a 5 gig all-core overclock on our 11900K with just 1.33 volts. That is the lowest voltage that we've needed so far, so that is pretty impressive. Covering the VRMs, we have two heatsinks which use Gigabyte's Fins Array 2 design. Those heatsinks are joined together with a direct touch heat pipe. And in our web review, we encountered some of the best results for the VRM and chipset cooling on Master. The thermal range on the VRMs in particular revealed an impressive result. And best of all, those heatsinks are quite compact and not oversized like we see on most other boards. And behind that top heatsink we have the CPU power, which is an 8+8 pin socket. That has the solid pins and the metal shielding. Now in terms of the fan headers, there are a total of 9 spread right across the board at the top, the side and bottom. All of those are hybrid and 4 pin. And for additional RGB we have 4 headers at the top and the bottom of the board. 2 of those are addressable. Moving on to the memory, we have dual channel DDR4 support with the metal reinforcement protection, and here we can slot in up to 128 gig, up to 5400 MHz. That is of course with an 11th gen CPU. And then right next to the DDR4 section we have some extra features which include the voltage checkpoints, an LED debug panel for the diagnostics, an onboard power button, and for the connectivity we have the two USB 3.2 Gen 1 headers and a USB 3.2 Gen 2 header. So lots of features there to take advantage of. Moving on to the storage, we have 6 SATA 36G ports for any SATA based devices. Then we have 3 M.2 slots, with just one of them being equipped for PCI Express 4, and that is fed from the CPU. The other 2 are from the chipset and therefore PCI Express 3. All of those M.2s feature a corresponding heatsink. If we take a look at the expansion area, we have two PCI Express 4 X16s and a single PCI Express 3 X16. The top slot there is wide for the full 16 lanes, but that is shared if you use another card in the second slot. And so that will drop down to 8 for both cards, and then that bottom one there is wide for 4. So it is best to use the top slot for a single card use. And like many other boards that we've tested, this one here is only compatible with AMD Crossfire. NVIDIA SLI doesn't appear to be supported. AORUS has equipped these slots to have the steel reinforcement and the extra anchor points, which gives that extra protection. And down at the bottom of the board we have the dual BIOS switches, and there is also a reset button. The audio solution on Master, which is over on the left of the PCI Express, is based around the Realtek ALC1220 codec. As part of this package we get the Weema caps and Nichicon fine gold caps, ESS 9218 audio DAC, and a TXC oscillator, and all of those items are isolated to avoid the signal interference. And last of all, we come to the rear panel on Master, and over here we get a clear CMOS button, a quick flash plus button, 2 antenna ports for the 802.11ax Wi-Fi 6E, 3 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports, a DisplayPort 1.4, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2 Type C with USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A, 10 gig Ethernet using the Aquantia AQC 107 controller with 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports, and then the gold-plated audio jacks, that is the 7.1 with optical out. So all of the red ports there are Gen 2, which is fantastic to see, and this gives us plenty of USB connectivity. It's also brilliant to see that rather than go with a 2.5 gig Ethernet, these guys have gone straight to 10 gig. So that is the Z590 AORUS Master. So this provides a bit of an outlook as to what Gigabyte has to offer for the upper end of the range. And we have to say that this is a great option. Just from the visual appearance, it's personally one of the favourites that I've had out of the bunch that I've looked at. The styling, the layout and the RGB, it's just been done to a great standard. As far as the features go, it has support for up to 5400 DDR4. PCI Express 4 gives us those 2 slots for graphics cards, but unfortunately we have just one of those out of the 3 M.2s which has the PCIe 4 support. USB connectivity is very generous on Master. There are plenty of USB 3.2 Gen 2s, but oddly enough Gigabyte has kind of sidestepped Thunderbolt 4, and instead we've got USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2. And for those who are interested, there are lots of little advanced features like the 2 debug panels, we've got the onboard buttons, and of course dual BIOS. Master has a huge 18+1 phase design, and although our 11900K cannot achieve stability past an all-core 5 gig overclock, this board here achieved that milestone, requiring just 1.32 volts. It should be noted that we could boot into Windows with 5.3, and so there is no denying that this board is very capable at the overclocking. Now if you guys are wanting to see the benchmark results with some other performance related info, then please check out the web review for Master. That link is going to be on the screen and in the description. Over there you're going to see that Master did a great job with the VRM and the chipset cooling as well. Please let me know what you guys think of this board in the comment section below. We'd love to hear your opinion. Thanks for your continued support guys. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Take care and I'll see you guys in the next one.